Dr. Johnson was the founder and chief executive of a private student loan company, Reunion Student Loan Financing Corporation, before assuming his official role with the department. Is that correct?
That probably is correct.
Yes, it is.
Let me just interject. And
I would like to continue.
And I would like to make clear that
we'll give you some time. I will get to it. Thank you so much.
The individual you have referred to is not part of the acquisition or procurement team.
All right, guys. The moment the hearing begins, you can feel the tension crackling in the room. Representative Ilhan Omar was tense. No time going for the jugular, calling out alleged conflicts of interest within the Department of Education. Her target, then Secretary Betsy DeVos. Omar's strategy is clear. Box DeVos into a corner and force a public admission. She invokes headlines, billions of dollars, and corporate ties to paint a picture of corruption. But what Omar doesn't anticipate is how calmly DeVos will dismantle the entire setup without ever raising her voice.
Thank you, Chairman. Madam Secretary, countless news sources have reported on the conflict of interest that run rampant through your top eight.
As Omar begins, her tone is sharp, almost prosecutorial. She rattles off names and corporations, setting the stage for what she hopes will be a devastating revelation. DeVos, sitting stone-faced, listens closely, letting her opponent burn through her talking points. When the question lands asking if Dr. Johnson, a former private loan executive, is leading a major federal project, DeVos simply says that probably is correct, then pivots with calm precision. No panic, no stumble, just pure composure. It's the kind of move that drains the momentum out of a political ambush.
Especially those advising you on higher ed and loan servicing. When responding to questions about these conflicts, you have failed to adequately convince Congress and the American people that these conflicts do not interfere with the billions of taxpayer dollars flowing from education to corporate interests. Today, I would like to better understand your decisions for selecting aides and ensuring that their conflicts do not harm taxpayers. Last May, 4 of my colleagues on this committee sent your general counsel a request for information about conflict of interest surrounding your $2 billion next-gen loan servicing solicitation. Given that this solicitation is given, I would like some information about the team that's leading it. Does Dr. A. Wade Johnson, is he the one that's spearheading this solicitation?
Given that this solicitation is given, I would like some information about the team that's leading it. Does Dr. A. Wade Johnson, is he the one that's spearheading this solicitation? Now the dynamic shifts. Omar tries to press harder, clearly sensing her first jab didn't land the way she hoped. She starts throwing more fuel into the fire, linking Dr. Johnson to past financial firms, hinting that his past employment somehow poisons the department's objectivity. But DeVos has already taken control of the tempo. She cuts in politely but firmly, clarifying that Johnson isn't part of the acquisition team. Each word is deliberate, steady, and surgical. This isn't a defense. It's a quiet dissection of a shaky accusation.
Dr. Johnson is head of the Next Gen Initiative.
All right. According to New York Times investigation, Dr. Johnson was the founder and chief executive of a private student loan company, Reunion Student Loan Financing Corporation, before assuming his official role with the department. Is that correct?
That probably is correct.
Yes, it is.
Let me just interject. And
I would like to continue.
And I would like to make clear that
we'll give you some time. I will get to it. Thank you so much. Dr. Johnson was also the executive at the two financial services companies, First Data Corporation and TSYS. Additionally, Dr. Johnson was hired at least one other TSYS veteran, Mr. Patrick Fox. Have any of Dr. Johnson's previous employers bid on elements of next-gen solicitation?
At this point, Omar's rhythm falters. The gotcha moment she's chasing just won't materialize. She keeps asking about internal communication about ties to Johnson's former employers about the supposed $2 billion risk to taxpayers. DVOS doesn't flinch. She explains again and again that procurement is handled separately with strict ethical walls in place. And when Omar demands a yes or no answer, DVOS refuses to play by those rules. Instead, she stays methodical, choosing accuracy over appeasement. That's when you realize this isn't a debate. It's a dismantling.
Congresswoman, all of my staff, all of my team at the Department of Education and Federal Student Aid has gone through their ethics process, has taken and takes their ethics obligations very seriously. We don't have conflicts, and we will not be conflicted. We have continued to have a robust screening process, and can stand and be very resolute about that.
So given that there is about $2 billion per year in taxpayer dollars flowing through this program, will you commit to releasing communication between the procurement team and any of Dr. Johnson's former employees?
So all of the procurement is walled off from the rest.
That would just be yes or no. Would you be committed to releasing any?
Omar's frustration starts to show. Her voice tightens. Her phrasing sharpens. She cites federal law, rattling off sections about ethics and transparency, trying to corner DVOs morally if not legally. But the secretary holds her ground with echoed precision. No defensive posturing, no emotional escalation, just process, structure, and procedure. DeVos knows something Omar underestimated in congressional hearings. Calm is power. And right now, she owns the room without even raising her.
Dr. Johnson and his employees.
Not to releasing internal communication, but the procurement team is walled off from the rest of the team, and the procurement process is very definitely prescribed as to how it has to happen.
That has not clearly answered my question. The federal acquisition regulations have a section on conflict of interest. It states, the general rule is to avoid strictly any conflict of interest or even the appearance of conflict of interest in government contract relations. While many federal laws and regulations place restrictions on actions of government personnel, their official conduct must, in addition, be such that they would not have no reluctance to make a full public disclosure of their actions. You seem to have reluctance to make a full public disclosure of the actions of the head of the department's largest single procurement team, despite there being obvious appearance of conflict of interest. How is your denial to release communication in line with extremely high conflict of interest standards that's required by federal law?
The contrast between the two women becomes striking. Omar is fiery, demanding, relentless, a fighter swinging on emotion and optics. DeVos is the opposite, measured, strategic, almost surgical. She uses institutional language like armor, making it impossible for Omar to land a clean hit. Each accusation slides off with a bureaucratic clarity that to the untrained eye looks unshakable. The hearing room, once buzzing with tension, now feels frozen in DeVos's rhythm. The ambush is losing air fast.
You have referred to is not part of the acquisition or procurement team.
Okay. But we need the communication that is happening between the procurement team and the employers of Dr. Johnson.
That process is walled off from any other process.
Then by now, even the viewers can sense it. The so-called conflict of interest story isn't delivering the knockout Omar promised. Every point she raises is met with process, policy, and precision. DeVos repeats the same core defense. Her team has been vetted, their ethics certified, and their work walled off from conflicts. It's not a flashy answer, but it's effective. Omar wants a confession. What she gets instead is a bureaucratic firewall that refuses to budge. As the hearing winds down, Omar delivers one last fiery monologue about public trust and transparency. DeVos ends the exchange exactly how she started it. Calm, unbroken, and fully in control. The attempted scandal fizzles out before it ever catches flame. And when the gavel drops, what remains isn't outrage. It's the unmistakable feeling of a political trap that just collapsed under its own weight. Sometimes silence and structure beat spectacle. And in this clash, Betsy DeVos didn't just survive, she neutralized the attack completely.